In the headlines, President Tinubu meets lawmakers-elect, asks them to respect party choice on leadership. Tomato traders in Lagos groan over fuel subsidy removal. Zulum orders probe of hospital staff over alleged rejection of accident victims. And on the international scene, Angolan president fires economic coordination minister amid fuel protests. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you for joining us. Now the news in full. President Bola Tinubu on Thursday met with lawmakers-elect under the platform of the All Progressive Congress, APC, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, the Labour Party, the New Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, and other four parties that would constitute the 10th National Assembly. Those in attendance at the conference hall of the State House in Abuja include Vice President Kashim Shettima, outgoing Senate President Ahmed Lawan, as well as outgoing Speaker of the House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila, amongst others. The president tasked lawmakers to put the nation first and downplay party politics in the discharge of their duties, as he extended a hand of fellowship to the lawmakers. He also called on the lawmakers to work together to choose good leaders in the 10th National Assembly. Gbajabiamila, who conveyed the message of the president, said the next 4 years will make or mar the development of the country. He said the 10th National Assembly must work in the partnership with the president for a successful administration.
At a point, at a very low end in our country, at a point where we need to start doing things differently. At a point where the next 4 years will either make or mar development in our country.
Happy we've had this family meeting, not as APC senators-elect, not as House of Reps senators-elect, but as Nigerians who will be federal lawmakers. And the most important thing we tell our colleagues always is that once we get sworn in on that day, on the 13th, we will become federal legislators. We will become senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. No more senator of APC or senator of no.
This is the first time the president, before the inauguration of the National Assembly, summoned a meeting of all members of the National Assembly, irrespective of political parties, to implore them to consider national unity, to coalesce into a single force with a view to moving the Nigerian project forward.
What he did. Because he could have ignored this and started his government. But when you see a man who is interested in the foundation of the home he wants to build, how strong it becomes will determine the height of such building, the strength of that building, the durability of that building, how that building will be able to face storms that will come during the rainy day.
President Bola Tinubu on Thursday met with a group of aggrieved politicians within the People's Democratic Party known as the G5 or the Integrity Group. In attendance at the meeting at the Aso Rock are one serving governor and four former governors within the party. The governor of Enugu State, Peter Mba, also attends the meeting. Addressing reporters, Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde said the G5 visited the president to appraise him of the latest happenings and the group stands for fairness, equity and justice in the country.
Well, nation building is a very difficult task. You have to keep evaluating what you're doing, where you're going, and so we have to keep seeing the president, to let him know what is happening. And for this evening, the G5, the Integrity Group, We also can let the president know what we stood for: fairness, justice, and equity. And we'll have him to it.
Similarly, Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Umo Eno, who met with the president, said after a closed-door politics is over and governance has started. Briefing reporters after the meeting, Eno said he solicited the President Tinubu's intervention in the Ibom Deep Seaport, a project that is believed would provide jobs to thousands of people and change the economic fortunes of the state when completed. The governor also urged the president to complete the Calabar-Itu Road, whose contract was awarded by President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. Speaking on the removal of petroleum subsidy, Eno said he would take measures to address it in his state next week.
My deputy governor distributed some palliatives to all the local government. And as I go back, I'm scheduled to have a meeting with all the petroleum marketers in Akwa Ibom. So we're looking at those ways, whatever we need to do and the president has directed that state governors, of course, should work on palliatives for the citizenry. We'll do just that. There are a number of things, and as we get into early next week, if we focus on Akwa Ibom, you'll see the various things we are going to put in place to support our people and shield them from the effect of the subsidy removal.
In the meantime, the race for leadership of 10th National Assembly is coming to a climax as the 9th National Assembly draws the curtains with various contenders jostling for position when newly elected and returning lawmakers to support their aspirations. In this report, Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman looks at the contenders and their rankings, as well as what would likely shape the choice of the new National Assembly leadership.
The principle of separation of powers is enshrined in the Constitution, giving each arm of government its due share of independence. But previous experience has shown that the executive arm influenced the emergence of leadership of the National Assembly despite its independence as an arm of government. The race for leadership of the 10th Assembly is more intense, with contenders defying the ruling party's zoning and candidates' endorsements in both the upper and lower chambers of the National Assembly. Could this be a departure from the past or an indication that lawmakers want to exert their independence?
The unfortunate thing for the APC after this last election is that they do not have two-thirds majority. And where you have multiple candidates within the party, and the opposition has a block vote. It can be easy to negotiate with the opposition. And that's what happened in 2015.
That's why the APC has to be very careful in supporting, because that is justice of vote. Whoever is going to emerge as the Speaker of the 10th Assembly. Because you see, you need to negotiate. It's a matter of interest. Every party has interest. Every member elect has his own interest. And everyone is trying to cover his interests. You see, the bottom line is that everybody wants to come back.
Contenders for the position of Senate President and Speaker remain unshaken on their resolve to go into the contest, lobbying members-elect and other interest groups. But the President and the ruling party are also solid and remain supportive of their chosen candidates.
The opposition also, they have a role to play in determining that they also key in so that it won't be winner take all. So that's why in most cases there has to be a balance between the ruling party and the opposition. But you see, one thing the party sometimes ignore is that they concentrate more on their party. They don't look outside the box.
How the National Assembly overcomes this election, if it is smooth, if it's not disruptive, then I believe that it will be a plus for the Tinubu administration.
How things will turn out will be seen on Tuesday when the assembly is inaugurated. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The skyrocketing price of commodities is biting harder on Nigerians following pump price increase across the country. While traders are lamenting over the increase in cost of transportation, their commodities, buyers are also expressing pain buying at higher price. Trust TV's Bello Musa visits Sheikh Abubakar Gumi Market in Kaduna and sent in the report.
Increase in the pump price is reflecting in the price of goods and services in the market. Nigerians are now paying higher to purchase foodstuff and other necessities in the market. The situation, Kaduna residents say, is biting hard on them.
After the increase of the price of fuel, it drastically affected everything in the market. You see products that we're getting, a product that you're getting normally for maybe 100 naira, be skyrocketed. Sometimes they double the price. Like in the market now, you hardly find anything that has to do with price control.
You ask me, the price of goods are very good. It's going high every day. If you come to today's market to buy something, before you know, tomorrow it will add more.
We are now paying higher for the transportation of goods we buy from far places, and we have to include it in the price of items we sell. For this resident, the government should look into the plight of Nigerians and ease their suffering. They are appealing to government to introduce programs and policies that will stimulate the economy.
A call to the government regards to the opening of the border. The idea is good. You know, when we have inflow of goods to Nigeria and we are exporting goods to Nigeria, you know, the economy will boost. We have, you know, and people will have something doing.
For me, for my take on that, I think the borders should be open, because the essence of closing those borders was to control prices and also for us to appreciate our domestic commodity. Example, you see rice. They were like, if we should close the borders, people will not import rice again and the price of rice will go high. Now, if you can see, the local rice that we have here is only the high and the mighty that can afford it. The common man finds it difficult to afford the common rice.
To hit the nail at the point is to resist the high cost of imposing taxation on goods. You understand me? If they can reduce the high cost of imposing taxation of goods, you see the cost of living will be reduced to be minimal.
The reality of subsidy removal is here, though many Nigerians are expecting palliatives from government to ease the cushion its biting effect. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
In the same vein, traders at the popular International Perishable Goods Market located at Mile 12 in Lagos are lamenting customers' low turnout since the announcement of fuel subsidy removal by President Bola Tinubu. Already, some traders are counting losses, while others say they are adjusting measurements as price source. Abbas Ibrahim reports.
The traders, who lamented low customers turnout due to the hike in transport fare, also lamented hike in the price of some perishable items. Hike in the price of fuel has caused increase in the hike in price of transporting our goods from the north, hence the increase in the price of the commodities. We paid 1,500 naira per bag before, and now it is 2,200 to 2,500. Hence, we increase the price of the commodities, and we also reduce its measurement. Another trader who buys and sells perishable goods in my 12 market laments lost due to hike in the price.
And before we are buying this market, normal price 6,000. If it is cost over 8,000. Now we are buying it 22. The one I even buy there for yesterday, my money did not even complete. I want the government to assist us, so maybe they should reduce the money for this petrol so that everything will just come down.
Aminu Musa is the sectional chairman at my 12 market, disclosed that the hike in the price of their commodities is alarming. hence urged the government as well as the independent fuel marketers to do something.
The goods that you buy, 3,000, 4,000, now you go to a farm and the price is almost 6,000, 5,000. You pay transport. The transport is extremely high. The petrol price has increased, so it has really affected the business. We're appealing to government that they should try to refine our refineries that are in Port Harcourt, Kaduna, and Wari. The federal government should do something about it, because we export. You can imagine, you export a crude oil and you import a refined oil. It is really embarrassing. It is really unacceptable.
While the price of the many perishable goods increased, the price of tomatoes decreased drastically, as a basket is sold between 30 to 35,000 naira against 55 to 70,000 naira as it was sold some months back. The secretary to the Union of Tomatoes Traders in Matrof Market, Suleiman N. Adawa, disclosed that the decrease in the price of tomatoes is due to the presence of its varieties from the neighboring countries like Benin Republic, Ghana, Togo, and Cameroon.
If you look at our market now, you will see various tomatoes from other places. You will see Cameroon tomatoes, you will see Ghana tomatoes, you will see Yoruba tomatoes. And before, we had only not tomatoes. That's why our price reduced.
He said the subsidy removal has caused decrease in customers' turnout.
That's why we don't have enough market.
The increase in the price of premium motor spirits did not directly affect some commodities which are being conveyed in trucks that use diesels, as the price remained constant. Abbas Ibrahim Alibi, Trust TV, Lagos.
Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum has directed the Ministry of Health to investigate and fish out medical staff on duty for allegedly rejecting victims of accidents rushed to Umaru Shehu Ultramodern Hospital in Maiduguri. Zulum gave the directive on Thursday at the accident and emergency unit of the hospital. The governor's visit to the hospital was in response to a video clip which went viral showing how some medical officers allegedly rejected accident victims brought to the hospital on a date and time that will be determined by investigators. He gave 24 hours for a probe team to identify the medical workers involved and to recommend appropriate sanctions. He said that the state government has invested in the health sector, including the welfare of the medical officers across the state, and called on medical officers to reciprocate the gesture by providing quality healthcare services to all patients without discrimination. You're watching News Updates on Trust TV. Coming up, no more overstay in Holy City. Details on this and more after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Update on Trust TV. And here is a recap of our top stories. We brought you President Tinubu meets APC senators-elect, asks them to respect party choice on leadership. And tomato traders in Lagos groan over fuel subsidy removal. Now moving on to more stories. Police in Kano say dozens of suspects involved in looting and criminal activities during demolition of structures on public lands have been arrested. These arrests come in response to reports received by the police concerning opportunistic looting that occurred during the demolition of illegal buildings and structures by the Kano State government. Police say the total number of suspects now stands at 106, all of whom have been charged to Magistrate Court 35, No Man's Land, Kano. The police have advised victims of this criminal act to promptly visit the State Criminal Investigation Department, Bompai, Kano State Police Command, to give testimonies and identify any stolen property. In a statement signed by Superintendent of Police Abdullahi Kiawa, the police public relations officer, the Commissioner of Police urged the public to remain vigilant and work hand in hand with law enforcement agencies to uphold peace and security in the state. National Hajj Commission of Nigeria has reduced the number of days for pilgrims' stay in Medina from 7 to 5 days to avoid stampede, due to the massive inflows of visitors across the world. Now, to this end, Adamawa pilgrims are rounding up their stay with a visit to major Islamic landmarks in the second holiest city in Islam. Sharif Al-Hassan files in this report from Medina.
Medina is the first contact and melting point of all intending pilgrims coming into the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia before heading to perform the Hajj rites in Mecca. It is also the second holiest city in Islam after Mecca and celebrated as the place from which Prophet Muhammad established the Muslim community after his migration from Mecca. From its iconic Masjid al-Nabawi Mosque to structural design of buildings and rich Islamic heritage that captures the minds of the visitors. Nigerian pilgrims are not left out of this expedition.
Nigerian pilgrims from Adamawa State today will be visiting some major Islamic landmarks here in the city of Medina, the home of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Areas to be visited include the dead palm of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Quba Mosque, the Qiblatani Mosque, the Grand Mosque of the Holy Prophet here in Medina, and of course other areas needed to be visited by pilgrims throughout their stay in the holy city of Medina. Adamawa State intending pilgrims' first port of call is the Quba Mosque, the one you are seeing very right behind me. It holds an important place in the minds of Muslims across the world.
Al-Quba Masjid is the first masjid that was built by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he was migrating from Mecca to Medina. He stopped over at Quba. Quba is a village 5 kilometers before entering Medina. So he stopped there. He prayed for 3 days. After that prayer for 3 days, so also Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the first Jumu'ah that he prayed in Medina was here in Masjid al-Quba. And at the same time, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, anyone amongst you who perform his ablution in the middle of Medina and he travels down to Masjid al-Quba and offer 2 rak'ah prayers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to reward him with Umrah.
Among other areas visited by the Adamawa State intending pilgrims included the Mount of Uhud and the date farm of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Medina.
Don haka suna nan anan tun da aka binne su kuma ba sake binne kowa ba anan.
This is a place where the Battle of Uhud took place, and we have like 70 Sahabas that are lying behind us here. We have the first tomb has about 3 people, 3 Sahabas, including the uncle of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that is Hamza. Well, the other hall has about 67 Sahabas that are lying there, about 70 of them. So we come here to just pray for them.
With the visit to these major Islamic landmarks, Nigerian pilgrims have begun moving out of Medina to Mecca, the hub of the Hajj exercise.
In business, Naira on Thursday depreciated against the dollar at the investors and exporters window, exchanging 469.50 Naira to a dollar. The local currency showed a 1.4% decrease when compared with 464 naira 67 kobo it exchanged for the dollar on Wednesday. The open indicative rate closed at 468 naira 94 kobo to the dollar on Thursday. An exchange rate of 476 naira 50 kobo to the dollar was the highest rate recorded within the day's trading before it settled at 469 naira 50 kobo. The naira sold for as low as 460 to the dollar within the day's trading. A total of $74.18 million was traded at the official investors and exporters window on Thursday. And away from Nigeria, Angolan President João Lourenço has sacked the minister responsible for economic and social development following protests triggered by the government's decision to end fuel subsidies. He replaced Manuel Nunes Jr., a seasoned minister and economics professor, with the central bank governor, Jose de Lima Massano, a statement said. The withdrawal of the subsidies, which Nunes Jr. said was aimed at cutting government spending, came into effect on 1st June, leading into the steep rise in fuel price. The oil-rich nation has since experienced a wave of protests, with more expected over the weekend. On Monday, 5 people died and 8 were injured after police opened fire on a group of protesters in the city of Huambo. Angola is one of the largest oil exporters in sub-Saharan Africa. And finally, in sport, Leicester City have confirmed Kelechi Iheanacho and Wilfred Ndidi's invitation for Nigeria's 2023 African Cup of Nations qualifier against Sierra Leone. Similarly, another English club, Brentford, have revealed midfielder Frank Onyeka is in the squad. The two clubs made the announcement on their official website. Super Eagles head coach Jose Peseiro is expected to unveil the full list later today. The 3-time African champions will take on the Leon Stars in the Matchday 5 encounter at the Samuel Kanyo Doe Stadium, Monrovia, on Sunday, June 18th. The Super Eagles camp for the game is expected to open in Lagos on Sunday. A point against Sierra Leone will seal Nigeria's qualification for Côte d'Ivoire 2023. And with that, we've wrapped up the end, of course, of news updates on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks for watching.